Oh, it's you again. Hi, welcome back, Boo Boo, to my channel, Cats, Coffee, and Kickboxing. Or maybe you're listening to this on your phone or whatever. Maybe you're listening to the podcast, the Fight for Love podcast. Anyway, I'm really, really glad to have you here with me today. If this is your first time tuning in, hi, my name is Tanya. I am a personal trainer in the Zurich area in Switzerland. And on this channel, we talk about health, empowerment, and training. And also, maybe you can tell by the boxing gloves in the back and by Kickboxing Kitty with the boxing gloves on, I am a kickboxer. And yeah, that's what I love doing. And that's what I mainly do in personal training. Not only that, but that's my most favorite thing to do with my clients. So today I wanted to talk about a blog article that I wrote a couple of days ago. Yes, your girl's got a blog. It's in German though. It's on my Swiss website, www.itsuptoyou.ch. And maybe you want to read it, which is, I would really be glad if you did. And maybe you don't speak German, so let me just help you translate it. This episode will just be about how to find the right martial arts for you. If you've ever asked yourself this question, I know people have asked me this question too. And I know some people are really open to getting into martial arts, which I highly recommend for everyone because it has so many cool things that come with it. And I'm going to talk about these cool things at the end of this episode or this video. And if you ever asked yourself, or if you ever wanted to get into martial arts, but you don't know where to start, you don't know what to start with, because there's so many options out there, fear not, I'm here for you, okay? I'm your friend, I'm right here. So I'm going to walk you through asking yourself the right questions to find the martial arts for you. Just really quick, I will make sometimes use two different words when I approach this topic. I usually refer to martial arts, which in German, it makes a lot of sense in German, it's Kampfkunst. It's the arts itself. And then on the other side, I refer to combat sports, Kampfsport in German, which is more like the sporty side of it, I guess, which is more the competition side of it. And I will dive into this further in the video. But whenever I talk generally, I'm just going to talk about martial arts. It's easier. But just so you know what I'm referring to. So, okay, first of all, martial arts have been around for a long, long time. A lot of martial arts come from the Eastern philosophy, from the Eastern history, and are not simply something to train your body, but also train your mind, train your soul, train your spirit. This is what I usually mean when I talk about martial arts, Kampfkunst, because this is mainly something that incorporates ideas, maybe ideas from Buddhism or ideas from Eastern philosophy. For example, we're talking about Kung Fu. Capoeira is like that, even though it's from Brazil, but it has a lot of history in it. It's aside from that, like opposite from that is more combat sports. Combat sports for me are sports like boxing, kickboxing, where there's not a lot of history itself. And when you go to a certain school or dojo or whatever, you don't necessarily learn about spiritual things, about body-mind connection. You just learn about the sport itself. Yeah, boxing, kickboxing, MMA also. These are my personal definitions. So this is not something that I don't think everybody would refer to combat sports and martial arts like this. This is just how I use the terms, because I do want to make the distinction between, I said Kung Fu and Capoeira. Maybe it's maybe even people disagree with that, but some also ninjutsu or sometimes karate are more on the side of you learn something also in a spiritual way. You learn about things like maybe religions, ancient Chinese or Japanese ideas of how the world works, how your body spirit connection works, how chi is something that you hear a lot about. Whether that's true or not, you guys, if you follow me for a couple of episodes, you probably know I'm more on the facts side of things. But if you appreciate the body, mind, spiritual chi flow kind of side of this whole coin, which is the entirety of martial arts and combat sports, you might be better off with a martial art instead of going to the other side where we talk mostly about learning how to fight in a ring, like, as I said, boxing, kickboxing, MMA, BJJ, even though I don't know, maybe I'm not an expert. This is just my ideas. If you have any thoughts on that, or if you're like, Tanya, what the fuck? BJJ is more on the spiritual side. Let me know in the comments, because I love to learn new stuff. I'm not like the expert on these things. I just want to help you to distinguish between these two. Also, I have tried a lot of martial arts and combat sports styles, but not all of them. So there's always stuff to learn. So if I'm messing something up, please let me know. Anyway, moving on. So after we distinguish the difference between martial arts and combat sports, and you ask yourself which one or how deep you want to get into this body, mind, spiritual history of things, or just keep the sport in the focus, I have some more questions for you that you can ask yourself, that hopefully help you to find the right martial arts style for you, because it can be really difficult to find the right style. There's so many different things out there, right? And it makes sense, first of all, to just figure out, or just go on Google. Google is your friend. Go on Google and just find different martial arts style and read about them and learn about them. And then ask yourself questions like, how intense should your training be? For example, I personally, I come from the background of Kung Fu. And I have done Kung Fu for 10 years or 10 plus years before I completely changed and transferred into kickboxing. I did both for a while. Excuse me. I did both for a while, but I started off with Kung Fu and I got pretty deep into Kung Fu before I started kickboxing, which I've been doing for like 7 years now. Anyway, the training is very different. Again, in my opinion, in my experience, when I talk about Kung Fu training, usually, I mean, talking about the training as I had it in Switzerland, it was not super intense. It could get a little intense. It could get hard. It could give me sore muscles. It could get sweaty. But it was always okay. It was never that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm almost dying. I can't do another repetition and then I have to do another one, which is the kickboxing side for sure. What I've learned in combat sports as a sport like kickboxing is, no matter how tired you are, there's always gas left in the tank. And I figured that out. I learned that through being half dead and still having to do something. And that sounds horrible. And sometimes it is, but at the same time, it's beautiful because it teaches you how strong you are. It teaches you how your mind sometimes deceives you, kind of, to tell you, hey, you can't do any more, but you still got a lot of energy left, and kind of gives you a awareness of your body and what your body is capable of, which is very beautiful. So, but that being said, I have been like in Kung Fu, I have been injured a couple of times, but it has been small injuries. Like I got my hands like how do you say that? I like a strained joint in my hands a lot of time, because in Kung Fu you do a lot of things where you put your hands like you kind of stretch your fingers out, and you're very susceptible to just hitting your fingers and straining your joints in the fingers. But like small things. But talking about kickboxing, the way I do it, I have to say, the way I do it, I have been hurt more, and the injuries have been worse, like tearing my ligaments or just getting hit in the head and almost getting knocked out. I haven't been knocked out so far, but I know it's bound to happen someday. But that being said, don't let that scare you into not getting into kickboxing, because the beautiful thing in combat sports and all martial arts is you decide yourself how deep you want to get into it. Nobody's gonna make you get into the ring. Nobody's gonna make you spar an opponent. That's all up to you. So it depends how deep you want to get into that field and how much you want to challenge people. So that being said, it's both very safe if you approach it with the mindset of, I'm going to be careful. So, but still, the training, in my opinion, in my experience, in Kung Fu has never been that hard as my training in kickboxing. Except for one thing, when we were in the Shaolin Temple. The Shaolin are crazy. The Shaolin are insane. They will just make you do stuff. Okay, like when you're dead and when you're laying down because you can't do any more reps, any more thing, they come with their bamboo stick and they smash it right next to your head on the ground. That happened to me. And it makes you get up really fast. They will just push you into a stretch and make you go deeper, which I'm not a fan of. But I mean, it's kind of funny, to be honest. The Shaolin are crazy and their training is very intense. So Kung Fu can get very intense, but from the way they treat it in my country, at least, is we had a lot of people in Kung Fu that were like physically not as capable, maybe due to an injury in the past, or people who have been a little bit older. And we haven't had that. We don't have that in kickboxing because it's more physically challenging from my experience, from the schools I've been to. So, okay. Moving on. Oh, where were we? Here. Next question. So the first question was, how intense should your training be? Next question is, do I want this philosophical, spiritual part in my training? Which I'm not going to get too deep into it because I talked about it a lot. But from my experience, what I learned in Kung Fu is I learned a lot about meditation, which was pretty cool. I love meditation. It's a good tool. But also, I need a pillow, sorry. Meditation, but also we went into Buddhist philosophy, which also very interesting. I love it. But then it took a spiritual turn, in my opinion, almost a little bit too much into the extreme. If you're more of a science-based person like I am, sometimes it was almost a little bit too much, with like feeling the energy and feeling your chi flowing through your body. But if you're into that stuff, go for it. Look for more of the martial arts side instead of the combat sports side. Maybe that's more for you. Okay, next question you want to ask yourself. Are you a kicker or a puncher? Or do you like rolling on the ground? This question can be tricky to answer if you've never done martial arts before. So, but sometimes we do have natural tendencies for one or the other, or maybe we remember how we were as kids, or maybe you just like to play fight with your friends. I don't know. Maybe you're a freak like me. So yeah, whatever feels more comfortable to you, or whatever you feel more called to do, might be the right thing for you. Like, for example, if you're more of a punching person, try boxing. If you like to kick, how about taekwondo or kickboxing or Muay Thai? If you like to roll around on the floor, try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's really cool. If you like all of those, why not go into MMA, for example? And don't be afraid to try these things out. And also don't get discouraged if you're not as flexible for these things. When I remember vividly, because I went into martial arts when I was already 25. So you do the math. But I went into martial arts pretty late, in my opinion. And I remember first thing I did was Kung Fu, and I had to do a form where I had to kick my foot, like do a side kick. And I remember my hip or my leg wouldn't go above my hip. And I remember thinking, damn it, I'm 25 years old. How am I not able to kick higher? And now I'm 38 and I can easily kick guys in the head that are taller than me. So don't worry if something doesn't work right away. That's the deal in martial arts. You need to be patient. You need to keep doing stuff. Even in sports, look, I'm talking as a trainer to you. I see it in my clients and in my friends and people training all the time. If you stick with something, if you can't do something, but you stick with it, you're gonna get better. There's no other option. If you keep training your body to do something, you will be able to do it if you're staying consistent. So don't let these things discourage you, and don't let especially your thoughts of what other people think of you discourage you, because I remember that has been really hard in martial arts, and I see it in other beginners, or I feel like I see it in other beginners too. They start to compare. That's something we all do. That's something humans do. We compare ourselves to others. Sometimes it can be beneficial, but most of the times we just fuck ourselves up with that, especially if you're a beginner in a sport, especially martial arts. Because when you start out martial arts, you're going to be like, you're going to have no idea what you're doing. And it's going to feel like you know nothing. Like for me, look, I'm new to BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I just started it again. I used to do it for like a year, but in a year you don't learn a lot. And now I started it again. And I feel like whenever I roll, whenever I'm on the ground and somebody's on top of me and I have to free myself, I just feel like a bug. You could just squish me. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I can't. It's and it can be a really tough feeling. But because I've been doing martial arts for a long time, I know that if I keep at it, if I keep learning, I'll be able to do it and I'll get better. But when you're a beginner in martial arts, it can be tough. I don't even know what point I was gonna make. Oh my god, my brain just got so lost in this. Oh yeah. No, that's fine. That's all. You're gonna grow with your sport. You're gonna adapt. So don't let thoughts of, oh, I'm not a good kicker because I'm not stretchy. Don't let that stop you. Go with your feeling. Like, would you like to be a good kicker? Or does that not like feel right for you? Would you rather punch more or whatever? And if you're not sure, just try different things out. And if you're not good at something yet, don't worry, you will get better. But just try stuff out. I think that's the best way to do it. Then next thing to ask yourself, next question is to find the right trainer, find the right school. I personally feel like this is the most important one out of all of them, because when you do something you enjoy, but you don't align with your trainer's ideas of how this sport should be, you're not going to have fun. And also, speaking from experience, one trainer having a certain idea of how the training should be and how people should behave in training, it shows in their students too. So if your trainer doesn't work with your ideas of the world, it's going to be reflected in the students, and you're not going to feel comfortable in that dojo. And that's not something that you will adapt to, most likely. It's something that just doesn't fit. So it's not the right fit for you. We're always in relationships with other people, right? That's why you and I are friends, because we just kind of feel each other, you know? We get each other. But with other people, if you just don't feel that connection, it's the same thing. You're going to spend a lot of time in your martial arts dojo, and you want to have a connection. You want to have a certain idea, certain things that make you feel comfortable. So even if, let's say, you're going to get into BJJ, this is after asking yourself all these questions, trying out different things, you know, BJJ is your sport. So you're going to start looking for BJJ schools. You can head into a school where you feel fine and comfortable and happy, or you can step into a school where you don't warm up to the trainers, you don't warm up to the students, something's weird, something's off, something doesn't feel right. And then don't blame it on the sports, blame it on the trainer. Blame it like it could be you too. Maybe you're just weird. I don't know. I mean, if it happens in every school you step into, the problem might be the sport or you. I don't know, man. I don't know you, even though we're friends for sure. But you're yeah, if you have the opportunity to test out different schools, then go with the one where you feel most comfortable. We don't always have that luxury, I know, depending on where you live, but I highly recommend you find the right fit for you. And sometimes having the right trainer is even more important than having the right sport, like the right martial arts. So I feel like this is the most important one. So, as promised, I want to talk about the benefits of martial arts and what you can expect when you start training martial arts. One thing is for sure, a huge plus is your health, your physical health. Combat sports, martial arts, they train your what's the name? Your system, your cardiovascular system. And it gives you muscles too. So this is the perfect combination between cardio workout and muscle building. It's an in-between, right? Some sports, let's say we take a marathon runner on one side of the extreme, and we take a bodybuilder on the other side of the extreme. You have advantages, cardiovascular advantages, especially and more, but let's keep it easy. In marathon runners, and you have advantages of stronger muscles and yeah, more strength on the other side, right? Martial arts are usually in between these two. You have cardiovascular training aspects, and you have the muscles that build when you do martial arts. So you have a perfect combination of both of these things. You have both benefits. Also, what is really cool about martial arts, it also trains your coordination, which is very important, and your balance too. Also very important because it saves you a lot from falling down, injuries, stupid injuries like falling down the stairs or slipping somewhere or like slipping on ice. It will make it more likely for you to be able to, for your body to be able to react so you don't get hurt. That's a really cool thing, especially as we get older. Very important. Okay, your mental well-being is also something that martial arts helps you tremendously with, because martial arts, sports in general, but especially martial arts, they reduce stress significantly. Because again, it's in every sport, but it's a little bit more extreme in martial arts, because you know how meditation works, right? Close your eyes, you focus on your breath, you try to think of nothing. You try to completely empty your head. And what that does, you not only does it lower your pulse, but it also helps you letting go of all these thoughts. Our minds are perfect in just creating problems and thinking about those problems and thinking about this and that and jumping from this to that and being super noisy all the time. And especially if you're like me and have ADHD, this can make it even worse. Your brain just goes 1 million miles per hour and it's crazy. And meditation helps you to just empty your head, throw all this trash out and just come back into the moment. And even though this sounds spiritual now, I know meditation has a lot of benefits that are scientifically proven, like, as I said, lowering your heart rate. Excuse me, I'm a little coffee today. But also just letting go of all these thoughts that might make you anxious can really help you focus on the now, focus on the moment, and calm you down. And especially that's why I'm saying this is more extreme in martial arts than in other sports, because in martial arts, if you're not completely present in what you're doing, it's going to hurt you, especially if you do sparring, stuff like that. Let's say you play tennis, okay? I would argue it's easier to be caught up in thoughts while you play tennis than it is while you spar. Because in tennis, even though you have to be present if you want to hit the ball, but if you're not, maybe let's say maybe something is really affecting you, maybe you just had a breakup or whatever and you just can't let go of these thoughts, you can still do tennis. Maybe you suck at this moment, but you can still do it. But in martial arts, especially if you do sparring, if you're not 100% completely in the moment, you're gonna get knocked out, you're gonna get kicked, it's gonna hurt, or you're gonna get punched. You're not necessarily get knocked out. As I said, I've never been knocked out, and I've been doing this for 7 years, but still, it hurts. If you do sparring and you get punched, you get kicked, it hurts. You have to be so present that no thought can penetrate that. So I feel like martial arts, especially things where you spar, really, really, really leave your stress behind, even though it's stressful in the moment. That's another thing. But it's a different kind of stress, and it really helps you to reduce anxieties and things that just make your mind go 1 million miles per hour. Okay, next thing why martial arts are beneficial is your self-esteem and what it does to you, because it teaches you to accept challenges and overcome challenges. Especially if you're a person that shies away from a challenge, or if you often feel like you cannot tackle a situation because you're not strong enough, martial arts teaches you to do exactly that. Because oftentimes you don't have a choice in martial arts. You can either give up or you can overcome challenges. And sometimes you have to find the solution, how to overcome the challenge to be able to overcome it. And the more you do that, the more you're gonna trust in your abilities and trust in yourself. This is why martial arts is such a good tool to make you more confident and make you feel stronger, and make you not feel strong, but realize how strong you really are, right? That's why I always end these episodes with "you're stronger than you think," because you absolutely are. And martial arts is a perfect tool to show you that this is true. Another one is discipline. And I know that doesn't sound sexy at all, but if you want to learn martial arts, you need to be disciplined. You need to be consistent. You need to stick with something for a long period of time. And you will realize through martial arts, through learning martial arts, that discipline is a very good trait. And this will get you further in many aspects of your life. And especially for kids, I think I used to train the Kung Fu kids, and a lot of the parents would say it has helped the kids a lot in the field of discipline to just get into Kung Fu and learn Kung Fu. which is it's cool. I mean, I'm not pro like super disciplined kids. That's not a thing I want, but just being able to maybe, you know, do something and stick with it. I think that's a very important trait for kids and for adults too. Okay, last one that comes to mind. I mean, there's so many more, but like we can be here forever, right? Is resilience. Resilience meaning if something doesn't work right away, you know you can still find a way to do it. And resilience in the sense of you will develop a certain trust in the process, which can help you to be less stressed if a new situation occurs or if a situation occurs that you don't like. Sometimes things don't go according to plan. Okay, oftentimes things don't go according to plan. And what martial arts has taught me is sometimes things don't go according to plan. Then you just find another way. It's fine. It's okay. You will find a way to get through with this. And this is something that I really appreciate about martial arts, just giving you this outlook on life, knowing that you can conquer anything and you can do anything and you're stronger than you think. And even if things don't go according to plan, you can try to find another solution. Maybe it works, maybe it won't. It'll be fine either way because you tried. And that's something that's a very valuable lesson in my opinion. Okay. Another thing I want to actually, there's a quote. I'd have to look it up first. There's a quote I want to read to you here that sums up what you can expect when you start martial arts, or what you should expect when you start martial arts. Okay, the quote is, empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. 10 points if you know who that quote is from. Put it in the comments. It's my favorite quote of this person. And it just tells you everything there is to know when starting martial arts. Be open. Let your fears, let your insecurities behind you, and just open yourself up to this experience. The start can be really hard, but you don't have to prove anyone anything. Just go with the flow. Just flow with it. Trust in the process. Give yourself time. And I'm sure you will find the right martial arts for you, the right style for you. If this has been helpful, or if you have any questions, again, comment. Every comment helps me tremendously. I'm so thankful. Also, if you want to reach out, I'm on Instagram as It's Up to You Personal Training. I am on LinkedIn as Tanja Mader, TanjaMader. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget, you're stronger than you think. And I'm out. Have a good one. See you soon. Bye.